Get staking rewards, and welcome to Staking Mondays. My name is Marian. I'm the head of strategy at Staking Rewards, and today it's my pleasure to interview Evan Shapiro, the CEO of the Mina Foundation. Evan founded the blockchain technology company 01 Labs in 2017, which successfully incubated Mina Protocol. Mina describes itself as the world's lightest blockchain using zero-knowledge technology to create the infrastructure for a secure and democratic future. Welcome, Evan. Great to have you on the show.
For sure. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Perfect. So I would like to go in on the merge today with you on zero-knowledge proofs, on privacy, and also like the big picture that motivates you for Mina Foundation. And I would like to go in from a staker's perspective, because that's what we as Staking Rewards are focused on. So yeah, happy to jump right in. So blockchains require more and more storage capacity over the duration of their existence, because they have to store the entire history of transactions. Mina takes a radically different approach to that and wants to use the maximum to 22 kilobytes. Could you explain this to our audience in a way that a non-developer would understand best?
Sure. So this is, the problem that got us initially very interested in zero-knowledge proofs and ultimately led to building Mina. This challenge where you get this amazing property of being able to verify the state of a blockchain through looking at all the blocks in time, as well as knowing what is like the strongest canonical state. But in doing so, you have to download and store and process all these blocks. And well, you can do that if your throughput's very low, or you have a very powerful computer. You can't really verify everything if you have to download hundreds of gigabytes onto a phone or a browser or even a laptop most of the time. So this was like this interesting, initially interesting technical and research challenge, but eventually, we think a more impactful solution for people like validators and general crypto community. The idea being that you have this computation you perform of checking and downloading all these blocks. What if there was a way that you could kind of cache that computation, that you could have that computation be computed once, then everyone could reuse that computation very, very cheaply. And that's the kind of the idea behind zero-knowledge proofs, is that with zero-knowledge proofs, we can have the network itself have a proof running of the current blockchain. And every time a new block is made, instead of just appending a block to that blockchain, you instead update the proof. And the proof is able to remain constant size, independent of the amount of blocks you've actually added to the chain. And because the proof is constant size, because the proof matches exactly the same computation as if you had downloaded all the blocks, you can download the proof. It's a few kilobytes very cheaply, and then know that whatever state you're looking at that the proof is attesting to, the Merkle root of the ledger, of the database of accounts, the consensus state, that all is correct, and you can do that very cheaply with zero-knowledge proofs, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. One image that I found online explaining the technology behind it is like taking screenshots or taking photos, right? And then you would have one photo within the other, and again you take just one photo. You see the new state of the chain, so to say, and the proof of the old state, and by that you have just to carry or deliver one photo, and the proof is correct and done. Is that a good way to describe it?
It's a good metaphor for it. You can think about it like every time a new block is like a new photo of like the previous like photos of all the photos and the new transactions, where like the top photo is also saying, hey, like you can look at all the photos, but also if you went all the way down the photos, you would arrive at the Genesis block. So there's this connection between the Genesis block and all the recursive photos on top of that back to the current state.
So it's a little bit like stepping into a fully mirrored elevator, and then you look into infinity, right?
Exactly. Yeah. We used to have like this GIF of like you would like take the previous photo and it would like zoom in, and then there'd be like a new photo on top of it, and that's like what's happening. It's continuous, recursive expansion of what the proofs are claiming back to the Genesis.
So as a layer one, Mina was launched in March 2021. Correct me if I'm wrong. Could you give us an update? What has happened since then? What, like, the biggest milestones and landmarks, and also maybe the challenges that you faced?
Yeah. So so we launched the original like decentralized, zero knowledge proof recursive blockchain in March. And most of the stuff that's happened since then is work getting the programmability layer for this ready to launch on mainnet. So the idea being that not only can we take advantage of zero knowledge proofs for this maximum decentralization, but we can also take advantage of zero knowledge proofs to give developers these really great primitives around privacy. And we had a lot of experience working with zero knowledge proofs and building complicated ways to program them just to like make Mina possible as a blockchain. So we've been working on making that really ready for developers to generally consume for making applications that take advantage of these scaling, these privacy, these like verifiability properties that zero knowledge proofs bring.
So, like, from the perspective of a staker, I think one very strong value proposition that you have is if the storage needed for all the blocks in the blockchain grow in a linear fashion or even exponential fashion, at some point this will create problems with decentralization, right? And Mina found a way to have it so lightweight that basically everyone would be able to stake Mina and secure the network. Could you share a little bit around what the moment was when you had the revelation of this lack of existing blockchains and how you would propose a solution? Because so many implications come from that, right? And I think this is also why you stress like the part of a democratic future and privacy with Mina in such a way.
Yeah. So, I mean, this goes back to like early 2017 when Bitcoin was kind of working its way through its blockchain block size questions around do we increase the throughput, thereby increasing the block size of Bitcoin, or do we keep the block size the same and the throughput will be low, the fees will be high, but it will be maximally decentralized. And there's this trade-off where you have this catch-22 where like you'd really want everyone to be able to use this technology in like a completely verified way, but you can't kind of have both easily. And this ultimately resulted in Bitcoin forking into Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin. But we were very interested in seeing, is there a way you can have both of these? Because I think the thing that was originally really exciting to me about cryptocurrency is this idea that you can have these cryptographic systems that allow us to access digital platforms that are more controlled by users and more verifiable and transparent to like everyone. And this seemed like a challenge in scaling these systems. So this was me and my co-founder, Isaac, who like was a PhD in cryptography at the time, spending a lot of time thinking through different architectures that would allow verification to come hand in hand with an ever-growing blockchain. And zero knowledge proofs, due to their properties around computation, ended up being a really good fit for that. So that's once we kind of put that together, that was kind of the beginning of the idea.
Got it. And is it like, going back to this very complex second order effects and third order effects that come with this idea, when did it dawn on you that that the whole it's like a societal issue that's actually being addressed there, that this is also coming with it? How did that evolve?
I think I think it was like kind of running subconsciously, because that was like what I liked about crypto, but I didn't really think about it explicitly until the last like year or two. I think really it's like the progress in Web3 that's kind of brought that to the forefront, where it's we're going to have crypto applications that are deeply embedded into the internet. What do those applications look like? What do these new platforms look like? What does it look like as things like AI and misinformation, unfortunately, I think continue to get worse? What does it look like as more institutions are running digitally? I think it becomes like a super important question how we're going to govern and have control and have privacy in the context of these systems, which are like huge questions, but things that zero knowledge proofs are well suited to solve and are very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. And comparing Mina to other very privacy-focused projects on the transactional side like Monero, but also on the base layer side like Secret Network, there has been some like a minor narrative that privacy has not really taken off. Do you see the same at play also for Mina? And what could be the reason for that?
I think that like a lot of the technology that has showed up there hasn't. It's been either of like a very specific form. It's been like we're going to do privacy over transactions, or it's been a little nascent. Like the secure enclave stuff has some issues with it. I think that what we're seeing is especially maybe it's like a time now in crypto where crypto is getting more ready for it, is there's a lot of applications that kind of want to be built. Things around identity, things around moving off-chain data on-chain, things around in private voting and other ways of private interaction that are kind of want to exist. And zero knowledge proofs do that in a way that has very, very strong guarantees and are relatively easy to access versus in the past, a lot of this stuff was possible, but it would take a very long development cycle to realize any of these things. Whereas the barrier to entry is getting much lower to programming with the stuff.
Yeah, and I think in the end, in terms of adoption, convenience plays a huge role, right? The biggest advantages in privacy and security of data comes when major players are switching their applications to a more encrypted or secured version without the users in the end really noticing it. Maybe that's also a reason for why Monero, for example, is not taking off, because it's just a huge barrier of entry plus the stigma associated with the focus on privacy.
Yeah, I think it's like this second generation of privacy stuff that's like we're not just like doing private transactions, we're doing like private user information as input into larger Web3 applications. That exactly right, yeah.
How does the ecosystem of Mina right now look like? Could you give us like a status update?
Yeah. So we have when we launched the network, we had around 650 what we call Genesis members that like received grants to help be block producers on the network. So we have a very large block producer community of mostly individuals, which is cool. And we also have a growing developer community. We just launched the second cohort of this thing we're calling like ZK Apps Builders Program, which is like a kind of early beta program to start playing with the zero knowledge proof programmability we have. And then we're also in the process of rolling out broader developer initiatives that will like give like developers broadly opportunities to get involved and build things.
Could you give us a rough estimation on how many developers do you think currently are working on Mina and all applications built upon it?
Yeah, it depends. It depends how we count, but I think we would like come up with an answer of around between 100 and 200 people that are like engaged in some more substantial way, that are like spending like at least like a third of their like time on Mina related things. Yeah, for not fully having everything launched yet, I'm excited about that. Actually, it's a cool thing.
In terms of, you already mentioned grants, right? Like one incentive for developers to switch over working on Mina. Like, what's your normal value proposition that you would put in there? Why should people come to Mina to build on it?
Yeah. So one thing we haven't talked about, which is like important to mention, is because Mina is so lightweight, not only can you verify it on your browser phone, but you can also verify it on other blockchains. So you can do a computation on Mina, and then from Ethereum, you can, in a fully decentralized way, say, there's a particular smart contract on Ethereum. It's running Mina's consensus rules inside of it. And with that, you can access Mina's Merkle root of its database on Ethereum. And with that, you can kind of be in this world where you can think of Mina as this L2 for privacy, where you can take your existing application or even build a new application on Ethereum or some other EVM platform, and you can then build the privacy part on Mina, such that you can get all these zero knowledge proof features, but without having to ship everything over to Mina. And so I think if you're a developer, you should be thinking about it in two ways. One is like, it's this opportunity to bring these privacy features if you want to have some private computation or private data as part of your application, by building part of it in Mina. Or if you want to, like, go completely zero knowledge proof and build something, completely new, you can also build it on Mina itself, and get access to like rollups and scalability and that kind of thing. So there's these two worlds you can be in, and yeah, that's how I would. That's part of the answer anyway. Yeah.
What in terms of languages that are being used? Are there some hurdles or some benefits to it?
So this is something that like we thought a lot about, and so what we are doing is programming zero knowledge proofs for Mina is all in JavaScript or TypeScript. And the way this is accomplished is there is this library we've built, which allows you to effectively program little zero knowledge proof programs through this library just in TypeScript. And it's pretty clean, actually. So if you've tried other zero knowledge proof frameworks and you've been like, oh, like this is either like confusing or it's like a new programming language or whatever, we've like really tried to make it so you can play with this library and get a lot of these benefits. So if you know TypeScript, you're kind of, you should be able to build some of this stuff.
Got it. And judging from how Mina can actually complement Ethereum and is not competing in a way, I presume you were also, like very much looking forward to the merge. And I don't know, were you part of the live stream, or how did you follow that through?
Mostly just Twitter. I missed the live stream, but no, it's super exciting. I think Mina was originally like in like day zero proof of work before we like realized, oh man, like it's probably not great from a like security perspective, from a energy perspective, and so when we launched with proof of stake, and I think like it's super exciting to see that idea like fully have traction and really be cutting down energy usage, which is really good. I think also like it's the correct security. I think there's security reasons as well. I know this is like controversial somewhat, but I think there's good reasons why this is good from a security perspective for the ecosystem. So it's a good move.
Got it. So you would describe the relationship as symbiotic?
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Short answer, yes. Okay. Because one other thing, coming back like to the staking and decentralization part, is if you are going on staking rewards and check the data for Mina, it has almost 22,000 validators, and more than, let's say, 600 of these have produced more than one block. So if you compare these to the size of validators for other blockchains, you can say that Mina is very strongly decentralized, which is like already a proof of the initial outset. Did you expect it that decentralization would work out so well there? And in general, what other reasons would you say contribute to this factor of Mina being so, in terms of staking and proof of stake, so well decentralized?
Yeah, I mean, I think we always hoped that we would get to this point at some stage, and it's great to see we have. I think that there's no barriers. Like there's no cap number of validators. It's cheap to run one of these nodes relatively. There's no slashing. You just produce your block or you don't, and you miss the opportunity. There's no bonding. You can just stake. So there's all these things that make it really easy to lower the barrier to entry. I'm actually hopeful. I think that right now the priority should be on programmability and privacy, but I'm actually excited to see what we can do to increase those numbers. So I think they're like super good, but ideally we would reach a place where almost anyone is helping secure the network and participating in the consensus, I think.
Do you see any challenges on the horizon for proof of stake in general?
I think that I think that if you're not have a succinct blockchain like we are, you have this problem of there are shortcuts to having cheaper. There are trade-offs you can make in verification, which don't involve verifying the whole chain, but making some assumptions that are slightly weaker. And I think those kind of intermediate solutions won't be as secure, and things need to transition to being fully succinct, like Mina's. I think also one of the bigger challenges I see is how to ensure that staking becomes or remains more democratic instead of converging on a small number of holders of capital. Like I think we're seeing right now, like with Ethereum, there's maybe like 2 or 3 parties that are, it's maybe better than proof of work. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I used that. I just wanted to jump in to give a shout out to our user base and especially people commenting on YouTube. And actually, I would pick up some of the questions posed there. And yeah, please feel free to add more questions there to ask you those questions. So let me briefly go through, if that's fine for you, Evan. Let me find.
That's good.
Okay, Gercek Cryptochu asks, what is the vision of Mina Protocol and where do you see Mina Protocol in the future? What is the killing feature of Mina that excites you? I think we already covered that, but if you could just nail it down, let's say with 3 bullet points.
Yeah, I think like ideally in the future, we will be in a place where crypto is like extremely democratic and democratically governed. And we can rebuild all the existing applications and new applications on top of crypto in ways that are broadly inclusive and accessible and governed by their users. And I think like it's our like ambition to like play a part in helping making that happen, either by doing it ourselves, helping other chains whatever we can. So that's like the vision and goal. I think the place we need to plan to contribute right now is around pushing the boundaries on decentralization and user inclusion, and offering privacy for users so that they can have their rights respected when they're operating on these platforms.
Got it. Pete Graham asked, any updates on light client nodes? Yeah.
It depends how you think about them. Like in some sense, like all the Mina nodes are like fairly light. But the actual one that runs in the browser is being worked on. And I would expect that like the programmability stuff will roll out first. But they're like the flow being worked on it's effectively going to be either like something running in MetaMask or like a MetaMask replacement that is running a Mina node in your browser. It's being worked on. That's the update.
Got it. And Mutsafa is asking on the bridge program whether it is still scheduled to be on time or whether you anticipate delays there.
It should be released like around the time of like the hard fork, it looks like. And it's getting audited right now. It's pretty far along. depends. Like, yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, it's like coming along and on track, I would say.
Got it. Then we have questions about supercharged. Let me see. Could you comment on that? Supercharged rewards.
Yeah, so we have like Mina has like higher rewards turned on right now for the launch, but these will stop after the hard fork. So this is the last period where the supercharged rewards are taking place.
Got it. And yeah, then switching back from the community questions, so to say, to my questions. Let me go back to that. And yeah, please feel free to ask additional questions. We will have some time in the end to also cover these. Maybe more on the personal side. What were your biggest personal learnings working in the industry? I always like to ask about one, let's say, instance that changed your view on anything inside the crypto industry in a major way.
Oh, let's see. That's a good question. I think for one, like I think I kind of came into running a crypto company with a, you know, kind of more standard view on company structure, on hierarchy, on how to build organizations. And I think that like I'm in a place now where I believe in something much more democratic, where the processes and structures you set up are vital. Like you can't just have like a anarchy, but you can build structures that really involve people in like a much more participatory way. And so like I think that's like kind of it's influenced blockchain things also. And I think that like I've seen like I guess like that experience has like I felt like there's like an opportunity there for crypto to like do more of that. So I'm like really excited about it. And I see ways in which the industry is trying to do it too, but there's also a lot of places where it's not. So there's like this I think the industry is like kind of figuring that out. And I think like I've also developed stronger opinions on it over time, if that makes sense.
Got it. And now Jamie T is asking a question that I also would like to ask you, and that is basically, are you coming to the Staking Summit 2022 in Lisbon this year, November 8th, hosted by Staking Rewards?
Maybe. Let's talk about it.
Great. Let's do it after the show. Then on the let's say wrapping it up, yeah. What's the best way to follow you for the latest developments on Mina and everything else you're working on?
I think two places to go. One is Twitter, like Mina Protocol, and like Evan Shapiro, my handle, like are two ways to keep in touch with like new programs, things that we're running, updates on the project. So check that out. There's like lots of updates flying around all the time. The other place is the Discord. If you want to like become a developer, you want to become like a block producer, we have like a big community of people that are like really helpful. And if you just like show up with those channels and you like just poke around, you'll see lots of ways to get involved. So either the Discord, which you probably get to from our website, minaprotocol.com, or our Twitter are the best places to go.
All right. And to everyone watching, please help out the channel by hitting the like and subscribe button and subscribe to our channel. You can check out our previous episodes of Staking Mondays available on YouTube and Spotify. And let us know in the comment section who you would like to see next on Staking Mondays. For Evan and the audience, I'm Marian. As always, happy staking. Thank you, Evan.
Thank you.